Let's go through horizontal spacing. So this string quartet score has Dorico's default layout options. The first thing I'm going to do, to give myself just a little bit of extra width, is to turn off these abbreviated staff labels, because after the first system I really don't need them. That's layout options, and it's at the top of staves and systems, so I'll set those to none. And for that matter, in a quartet I probably don't need this extra bracket on the two violins, so let me switch that from the bracketing section. These presets cover most use cases, but there's also a bracketing tool in the left panel of Engrave Mode. Now, I'm pretty happy with this layout generally, but it's a bit tight in some places, so I'm going to turn down the staff size just slightly. These two options do the same thing. The rastral sizes are presets, but you can type whatever you like into the space size. See, that changes to custom. And then, yeah, I'm going with 6 mils. Let's apply and see what that looks like. So this again is down to a layout option, which says that if the last system is less than 50% full, it doesn't get horizontally spread out. This is called justification. So in layout options note spacing, I can set this to something lower, or I could just turn it off. I'll turn it off. But actually, I think I could get this first flow onto 3 pages. There isn't room for a 4th system, but I could squeeze the music closer together. The best global way to do that is in this same dialog. If I set this top number to something smaller, it's just going to pull everything closer together, and it'll figure out where to squeeze the extra bars. Everything in this video up to now is achievable in Elements as well as Pro. I've got more than 2 players, so this isn't possible in SE, but even you SE people have access to layout options. So the slightly less global way is in Engrave Mode, on the Engrave menu, and that's the note spacing change. It's an override for the page of layout options I was just in. So if I select something at the start of this flow, in Engrave Mode, I could then put in a note spacing change, turn this number all the way up to 5, and that's going to spread out the music quite a bit more. In some types of music, you may always want 4 bars on a system, and you can set that in layout options, staves and systems. And also for a fixed number of systems per page. Let's try this. And if I scroll back, the problem I've got at the very beginning is that I have a pickup bar. So how do I get these 4 bars together? Well, I'm afraid in SE or Elements you can't, so don't use the 4 bars to a system option. But in Pro, in Engrave Mode, you can click something at the start, like a time signature or a note, then Command or Control click the last thing you want on that system, such as this bar line, then click this Make into System button. There's a bit of a trap here. I've got my signposts turned on at View Signposts, specifically the ones for system breaks and frame breaks. So you can see what Dorico's done is it's added a system break here and a system break here. This Make into System button is just a shortcut for adding 2 system breaks, but with a catch. If you delete the second one, this is going to happen. It's put the whole flow on a single system. So why? Well, if I select this first system break, then open the Properties panel, you can see there's this Wait for Next system break property. And that property tells Dorico to keep squeezing music onto this system until the next system break. If you turn off this property, that's going to fix the problem. Then put the next system break where you actually want it. That's just select something, hit this button, or Shift S within Engrave Mode. Elements and SE users, you can add system breaks and frame breaks from the Edit menu. Then go back and set that property again. And then the Make into Frame button works in exactly the same way. 99% of the time, a frame means a page. There are very limited circumstances when you might put multiple frames on a single page, and Shift F inserts a frame break. Let me switch off that 4 bars to a system option. Okay, I'm going to jump to this tool, the note spacing tool. For real micro adjustments, and you shouldn't need these much, you can click a square handle, you can navigate between them with up, down, left and right, and then to move the notes you need to use key commands, and they're Alt left and Alt right, or add Command or Control for bigger increments. The square handles move the whole rhythmic stack. They move everybody. See the little circular handles? You can use Tab to get to those, or click them. and they move just that one voice independently. And if you need to set them back to the defaults, you can drag a marquee selection and hit delete or backspace, but the voice-specific ones, the circles, you have to do individually. And there are some global resets up here. Finally, these percentages tell you how much space Dorico's got to play with, relative to the note spacing values we already looked at. So that's horizontal spacing,